realized they was teaching me knowledge of myself. It took me to be a grown man to recognize Rakim was teaching me knowledge of myself.
I only overtly recognized it when RZA said in duck season, I got my queen in my seed, you know, 120 lessons. You know what I mean? And I was like, and I was telling my brother, I was like, yo, we gotta get that. He was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I was like, I gotta get that. I don't know what that is. And that set the spark. You know what I mean? But yeah, you listen to a lot of shit, we don't really know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it sets those little sparks because that cadence that P.E.A.C.E was saying, right?
I got older.
That cadence was staying in our head, and it was basically in there.
So when I started gaining a little bit of knowledge more, and I'm listening to All for One again, I'm like, oh snap! They was doing this since back then. We didn't know they was giving us knowledge of ourselves.
That's right.
I didn't have no. Rakim was always like an enigma to me because I would be a little kid in the Bronx.
It's with a lot of things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I became vegan though. But it wasn't. Harrison was my favorite. But beef, I was hearing again and again, and that wasn't the last spark. It was a song from Common, Maintain. He said, "What type of rebel in sports?" And I kept looping in my head, and I was like, "I'm a fucking rebel." You know what I'm saying? I'm a rebel. You know, and I threw the old Earth's plate off the table. It's fucked up, but you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times we hear songs, and it ingrains differently. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because the subconscious
especially
mind,
when you're young.
Yeah, because the subconscious mind is always absorbed.
That's right. Anybody got any questions? I'm here late because I was building with the guy and another brother was here. As I always tell everybody, I always start the class though. I start a little bit later because I give the people that actually come here a little bit extra time. You know what I'm saying? Now we got an hour to just build here. And I want to take any questions that anybody has. I have the lesson on neurology. I'm not going to get into it this week, not because I only have an hour here, but because there was so many things I wanted to add, and I was like, no, I need to put more stuff in this. You know what I mean? And then really go through it, though. You know, hopefully that I would like to read this other book and finish it as well, because it's intriguing to deal with that. But dealing with the mind and the ideas of what neurologists say is the mind. The scientific search for consciousness, all of these things are things that are being dealt with now. And these other sciences are how we're going to learn of ourselves. The science of melanin, which is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Right? All of these things are important, you know? So if you're in here, I see some people here. Any questions? Anything that you want to add on? Anything that you have to say it. You know what I mean? I will be here until 8 o'clock. All right. Because we got the brother here. This is your first time here. And you walked in right when I was giving that history like that. So it was perfect. I was like, boom. You know what I'm saying? It was perfect, you know? But the tail end of that he missed because he left. And I'm going to tell you this. I've been around a lot, though. What you saw there, did you see how when I said, like, you very rarely see that. So take note of that, though. It's your first time here. What it's like to tell someone who's 85 that there's no mystery, guy.
Yeah, he couldn't believe that. He couldn't deal with that.
It was like I hit him with a cannon, though. Did you see his head just, like, it went back. Like, that shit went back.
But you see, I already knew. So you see it.
That shit was some, like I was
but to see
on the grassy knoll, and I just shot JFK right there.
He was struggling with that. He was like, what you mean? I said, in the sky. I said, there's no God in the sky.
This is why, like, I'm going to tell you why. Like, this is why the youth that we preserve, that we naturally preserve, is by letting go of the frustration and being upset that people don't deal with this knowledge. Never forget what you saw there.
Right.
Because not everybody can get this, and it's okay.
Because he was cool with it at first.
Yeah. It's exotic, though. It was exotic, though. You know, he knew people that was with it. It's cool. It's in the rap songs, everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I explained it, and I said the difference is that the father left, they don't deal with no mystery guy.
He couldn't take that.
And his head literally went back. You know what I'm saying?
He could take that.
Peace, God.
Give me a little quick massage, you know.
Yeah, the 85 got me texted. Peace, God. Everything's peace, God.
You all right, man?
I'm good, God. I'm good.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you about this school. You know what I'm saying? The father got this school because he was out there in the street. And when Mayor John Lindsay sent deputy mayors to all the worst hoods, Brownsville, all these places, Harlem. The one he sent here, Barry Goffin took a liking to the father immediately, and he realized what he was doing was next level. And so he got what the father asked for. The father asked him for bus trips for his youth. He asked them the pins that we wear, the small ones that show them knowledge 120, that he memorized it. That was first given to us by the U.S., the New York City. They made the first pins for the father. So it wasn't like he went to a company to buy them. They made the first ones. You know what I'm saying? That's how much he was working with New York City. You know what I'm saying? And then this building was given to the father and the land that's adjoining it, the yard here and all that. This is all our land.
Really?
And it was given to us, though, by the mayor. This is how much we're building. And the famous story in New York Magazine, right, where they have a law on the cover, and Mayor John Lindsay was, Harlem did not get looted. It's one of the few cities that didn't get looted when Martin Luther King died, was killed, right? Because the father went out there with his 5% or so, and then eventually met up with Lindsay, and they walked the streets and they stopped people from looting. Because the father's mentality wasn't like, no, this was it's whatever, the white man, this, that. No, his thing was, this was a horrible thing, but we're not going to get any justice destroying where we live.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think you're going to wake up, downtown, they're going to be good.
Right.
We loot our own neighborhoods downtown, they're going to be right.
Right.
And nobody was taking no trains. They were like, we're going to take the train downtown, we're going to loot Times Square.
How's that?
Nobody was doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In any major city, they weren't doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They take their frustrations on themselves and their situation. You know what I'm saying? Just like we caged animals. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that the father did, and that's how we have this land. You know? So this has always been a place, though, for the youth. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell you that even as you get this knowledge at your age, though, always think of something that you would give to the youth, whether it's your creations, whether it's things that you give your son.
Right.
All these things count. And that's why I don't push away any students. I throw students out.
Really?
Mentally and physically. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're rude, if you're disrespectful, if you come to a place where you will not challenge me with scientific reasoning and questioning, you know what I'm saying? This is fine. I take anyone to come in here and say, listen, I disagree with everything you said. Then we got a class now.
Right.
We got a class now. Now we can really build.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you come with some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Get kicked out.
Like you had to literally tell people to leave, but you have to leave my class.
Yeah. Remember, this is voluntary school.
Right.
We let anybody come in that wants to come in. We know each other, right?
Right.
You contacted me and said, listen, come in at this time, right? That's not how it goes. I have to be ready for anybody to come in and do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's years and years of this. You know what I'm saying? Right? So we deal with the community in this way as well, and we deal with the community in the classroom like this too. Right? So the thing is, though, is that like what we care about, though, is that you study on your own. You make something. See, people teach, they think teaching is just going in and hand and telling people about this stuff. We teach people by our creations as well. And that's why it's important, the mentality that you have. You know what I'm saying? To put something down that will be worthwhile. And that doesn't mean that every song per se is going to say, mathematics. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that it's going to be of such value. It's going to show people what value is. Like you talk about this Jordan thing. I'm thinking about this Jordan thing. I think LeBron's trash. You know what I mean?
He's just hyped up for.
But the thing is, right? Everybody gets on me, right? But the thing about it, right? The intriguing thing about it is that when we were kids, though, we never saw a black man not lose. We always saw black men win, but they always lost some other time. You know what I'm saying? If they win in the ring, they lose in real life.
Right.
They get arrested, right? Mike Tyson, right? If they win here, they lose here. They always get us back. You know what I'm saying? We're watching Jordan now, and he won everything. He could not lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Never
and even
lost.
when they tried to have him lose, he was like, fuck it, I'll just leave.
And came back and won
And then
again.
he came back and won again.
And won again.
Because you know it was a loss. They killed his father though.
Right.
Some people say, right, when we saw this the doc on Netflix, it was saying they might have let him go because of the gambling too. He was, right? But he still came back. This is very rare for us to see.
Right.
Very rare for us to see because every person that we love, we hold dear, they win, but they lose somewhere else. And it always seems deliberate. You know what I'm saying? Certainly for our revolutionaries.
Oh, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it be in America or be in Latin America. You know what I'm saying? Right? The Che Guevaras, all that. You know what I'm saying? This is why, like, when we look like, this is why people love Fidel. Fidel was never killed. He died of old age.
Right.
You didn't. They didn't defeat him.
You didn't get him.
He died when he was ready to go. See, that shit is inspiring to me.
Right. And they
You know
try
what I'm
to kill him
saying?
numerous
And that's also why when people are like dissing the Queen Elizabeth and saying, "Oh, fuck that bitch, oh, you ain't shit, you," I was like, no, that bitch won. That bitch blood sucked. She never gave any. They didn't give anything back, right? Before she died, she said, "Here's the crowns. This is the shit that I looted from India. I'm giving it all back.
All
This is
the
the
stuff
shit we
we
took
got
from
from
Africa."
slavery,
Right? She didn't.
She never did none of
Nah, she just went and died when she felt like that.
Right. 90-something years
So
old.
I didn't celebrate that because that's not a win.
Right.
That's her win. That's our loss. You know what I'm saying?
She got off easy.
Right. So it's very rare that you get to see someone win and never lose. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, see, enjoy the win. That's a big deal.
Right.
And be the best and win. Nobody could come close. Very rare. Very rare for us to see that.
So now in this generation, so now it's dawning on me what you're saying, because it's like now in this generation, it's not about being a winner. It's about what it looked like. Because it's clearly obvious LeBron been to the championship 10 times. He's been there 8 times in a row. What's the reality of it is he's 40%. 40% is losing.
Right. And look, today's math is born, right?
Right.
Born means to fulfill, to complete. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We could say, listen, there's a great player. He got there that many times, all the times, right? But there's something special about someone completing. You know
Got
what
there
I'm saying?
10 times and won 10 times.
There's something about completing. You know what I'm saying? And it deserves respect. Now, if Jordan never existed, then LeBron could be the GOAT.
Right.
But that kind of excellence existed. And so it had, merits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was merit, though, you know? Plus, you got to run inflation for these numbers, though. Because they don't play no defense. And there's not one damn center that'll stop
I was just about to say there's no big man to bump him out the way.
Jordan, I was helping Jordan was playing against the greatest centers that ever lived.
Patrick Ewing.
No, that's the greatest center era. Right? Ewing, Olajuwon. Yo,
Olajuwon.
the regular all-stars back then would have dominated things. Brad Daugherty would have dominated. Rick Smith would have dominated. You know, like, so he got past this man who was holding, grappling, pushing, and then he had to deal with Ewing down low. Morning. Right? They're not gonna block you. They're gonna push you way back. Right. If you get blocked by Morning, though, you see them arms he had? David Robinson, Shaquille, right? What was his high scoring? One of his high scoring games was against Shaquille. It's fucking his 63-point game. That was against Shaquille. It's different shit. You gotta respect Bourne, and that's for yourself. You respect the actualization. The father, he's the difference. He actualized that truth. He didn't just say, "Listen, it's written down here, and the black man is God." You know what I'm saying? No, he said, "It's not enough. I'm Allah himself, and I'm gonna go out there as that." This man didn't just go out there and say, "I'm gonna teach that the black man is God." He said, "I'm Allah, and I'm gonna let everybody know, and I'm gonna teach everybody." You realize what fucking balls that you need to do that?
Right.
To go out there and then teach it as a fact, not as like it should be, it ought to be. Wouldn't this world be much better if we was the God?
Right.
No, I'm teaching this as a fact. You know what I mean? And as a fact that I'm going to prove right now and not wait for someone else to help me with it or anything like that. Some heavy shit.
Right.
This is different metal it gives to those young that learn that. METTLE, metal. It's one of my favorite words. I'll be saying that word all the time. You know what I mean?
METTLE.
METTLE is the strength of will. What's his metal? You know what I'm saying? Right? Does he choke at the line when the game's on the line? You know what I mean? Or does he sink a cool, calm? boom.
Because he wanted the
You know
ball
what I'm
to
saying?
fight him second.
Right? Like, you know, like all types of sports, right? In baseball, which is the hardest game to play, right?
Right.
There's always players that they got shitty averages though. But when the game's on the line, they be killing it. They're not great players, but you respect them. You respect the shit out of them because yo, this whole World Series is on the line. He's getting hits after hit. This guy sucks all season. You know what I mean? There's something, the metal of a person that you gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta respect that. Today, people don't really deal with it. They're not dealing with when they watch sports. They don't deal with it with anything else. So they don't respect that different performance. You know what I mean? They even right now they got kids getting participation trophies though. Nah, it's okay. No, you have to learn what a loss is though. So you never really get, you know.
Participation.
You know,
you lost.
Yeah.
You get third place. That's it.
You know, it's always a contradiction dealing with competition. Okay. In the Dhammapada, right? Dhamma means righteous, pada means path. Okay. Sayings of the Buddha, the Dhammapada. It's a great book, right? One of them says that competition always, when you compete, there was we know there is always a loser, right? He said with competition, there's always suffering. And we can see that too. There is always suffering. See? So whether it's a winner or a loser, there is always suffering, though. And the idea is that competition has to be taken in a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? That we have to learn how to accept loss and stuff like that, but be willing to go out for the win. Whatever we say. Because remember, Born, and I wanted to build on Born. I don't know. Nobody's really responding today, which is crazy. I don't know if this shit is working, chat, or anything like that. But what I wanted to build on Born is that for many of us, when we deal with Born, right, you're going back to learn these math, right? You're thinking like, do it with exercise for you when you're alone and everything like that. You say, pick one of your best records, especially the one you remember making, that you really enjoy making, and take it through the mathematics. So, what was the original ideas that I had, knowledge, right? What did I do with those? How did I use those ideas to come up with an understanding? And you define understanding as like, what was this song going to be about? You know what I mean? And then how you made it, or how you took it through and said, I'm making a song now. I'm an MC. I'm living a culture. I'm making a song. And then how powerful the song was. Meaning, first, what did it do for you? What equality did it bring for you? And then, God, how did it reveal you in a deeper way after making it? And then when you set it out there, how did it impact people? How did they see it? How did they see you after hearing that? You see what I'm saying? That's built. And then Born. What really was fulfilled in all of this reality? See? How was it all completed? And when would you say, was it completed? The whole process. That's up to you to decide. That means that Born has a lot of decision making that you make yourself when you look back on things and analyze and use these mathematics as a tool to analyze your life. You are deciding though when those points of fulfillment are and how you analyze them. You see? Right. And that means that Born is a level of fulfillment that we have to be very forthright with. And so we need to have goals of winning and losing on certain levels. They may not be the level of the game, as in a W or an L, but they have to be based on how well did I play? How well did I commit? How well did I go all out? Did I learn enough from this? What's the win? You see what I'm saying? Right. So we're always competing with something. It's the framework of competing, not getting rid of the competing. You see? So when we get into this nation, when I got into it, there was a lot of competition, you know what I'm saying? Even when I started the class, I had to be like, a lot of the elders are alive and shit. I'm here teaching a class. I'm gonna be the weak link. I was like, I'm Praza the Fuji's here if I don't get my shit together. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So then that means that, the competition is really with myself, because I have to find something worthwhile for me to share about this knowledge. My own understanding that's only going to come from me. It has to be unique. And that's the competition. But it was competition because I'm trying to hang. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm trying to hang. I'm trying not to be the weak link. I'm trying to be worthwhile. You see? So the competition is taken on a level. So every day you're competing with yourself. You know? It's like every day I train, I was like, this is my last day. I train from Monday through Thursday. Right? I was telling you, I do Monday, Thursday, Friday is my day off. You know what I'm saying? Because I teach here, and I definitely can't go up 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is Friday's my day off. But when I train Thursday, I'm like, I have to remember that I trained well the other days, but I have to go out all out so crazy today just because I'm not training tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So I have to beat that. And I'm thinking like, yo, I was kind of nice on Tuesday. I have to fucking beat that. And I have to get some kind of energy though. But mind you, Thursday, I'm already tapped out. Legs ain't kicking like they could. You know what I'm saying? The arms is already sore from all the weights, all of the punches, all of that. So it's like, right? What am I competing against? You know what I'm saying? Peace. Sunez. It's always you. It's always you. But you have to find those markers of born. What I mean by markers of born is what is going to be the elevated fulfillment for you at this time. You see what I'm saying? What is it going to be for you? So born is based on perspective. I'm going to read all these real quick. Born is based on perspective in a lot of ways on how we analyze it. How will something be analytically born? Meaning, what do we say will be fulfillment for us in this? And it'll be proven by us taking it through the other mathematics up to that point and saying, this is worthwhile. You see? And that's what I say. With us, the 5%ers, it's a great lesson for you would be, I have a plus lesson about understanding. I'm just going to teach one part of it, right? Everybody has perspectives, right? And they think that they know about Buddhism and shit like that and say, I have no perspective. I'm just is and shit like that. Bullshit. They don't either. You know what I'm saying? And they write that they don't. People that say that, that's their own perception of what the East is on and shit like that. Like they're just mythical people floating and shit like that. It's all bullshit. When you read these ancient texts, though, they were about real people. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is that we always have a perspective of what we're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? So the more that we're aware of our perspective, the more that we know how our perspective could taint the way we see things. You see what I'm saying? So like, let's say, right, the father taught us, right? And the elders taught me that he taught us that. That he taught we're neither pro-black nor anti-white. We're pro-righteousness and anti-devilishment. Doesn't mean that we're not black, like we're not with black. You know what I'm saying? Right. I see my brother on the street, I'm gonna do things for him just because he's black and he needs that hand, right? If I see white folk and I don't know, I'll be like, this society you should be able to do shit inside. Yeah? You better, start using that privilege card, right? I'm gonna help my brothers, right? But that's not what the father meant by that. What the father meant, though, was that we're not just judging deeds and giving passes for deeds that are not right and exact, right? We deal with knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So that means we deal with some white folk and we say, listen, I'm going to do the knowledge longer and judge him on his actions because we have that moment here to see his actions show and prove. And if his actions show and prove, then I say, okay, we could build on certain levels. You know what I'm saying? Right? And I say that those are an example that's real because there's many whites that I've taught this knowledge to as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I heard that they can't teach until after 40 years. Is that true?
In the lessons, that's what they teach a Muslim son is.
Okay.
Which is often a white person, and they put him under the sword. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not true in real life, though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? One of the, it's funny, I was talking about a 5% of that is white that I was building with really heavy the other days. One of the great MCs of this generation, Al Divino.
Just a little bit.
Right? He's Southern Italian, though, but he doesn't see himself as original. He sees himself as not original, so he goes as a white man.
Okay.
Right? Because some Sicilians do see themselves as black, right?
Okay. I heard that.
Right? But in this particular brother, he sees it that way, and he builds a righteous man. But he's out there teaching. I know. You know what I'm saying? And he's definitely out there creating work so that inspires people to learn. You know what I'm saying? Right? So it's how we look at things, neither pro-black nor anti-white. We're looking at things for what they really are. In other words, we're being aware of our biases, right? And so you develop, instead of trying to get rid of biases, you try to be aware of the way your lenses are. Just like, my eyesight isn't that good, so a potential, and I'm going to be more unsure of someone shady far away.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The same thing, like when we're outside, right? You gotta be more careful if your eyesight is tainted and shit like that, right? Same thing. As a 5%er, one of our biases though that we always have is that we're what? Everything is towards the children. So we always have a focus toward the children. Sometimes not with everything, but nearly almost always, we always think of like, how can the children be adapted to this stuff? You know what I'm saying? So we might be inside us doing stuff, but we're always cognizant if there's children around.
Right.
See? The brother that you said won't have the flag though, I would like to see a brother wear his flag all the time and say, listen, I'm God all the time and I have nothing to be ashamed because I'm doing what I see is right and exact all the time. But he's doing things he doesn't see as right and exact. And that's why he has to take it off. See what I'm saying? But even when he takes it off, his perspective is still as a where, you know, I'll be when I'm in the mood,
Right.
when it's my time and shit. Or I need my time to myself, so it's time to put this away. And I say that because I say that out of reality because especially in like these areas here and in the places I go, like I can't do hip hop and be like, yeah, you know, I'll just do 85 shit right now.
Right.
Everybody knows me as Sunez Allah. There's no way I could go around it.
Right.
Like, why should I put the flag away? I'm gonna be, if I'm recognized, I'm gonna be recognized as this.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
There's no way I could go that they're gonna be like, oh, that's.
No.
I don't.
And you've been doing this for too long.
You know what I'm saying? Right? Even the jobs I work, people recognize me. So I'm like, there's no need to hide that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but it's like the mentality of a 5%. So everyone's understanding is built on their perspectives. Now, do you build perspectives that are right and exact and let them be a guidepost to know your biases and know not? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're really doing something. Admit them. Deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we deal all these feelings, like, you know, like if you have feelings of hate, envy, greed, jealousy in you, you can't just throw them away. You have to like deal with them. You have to like look at them. You have to say, listen, why am I hating that? Like, really? You know what I'm saying? I'm me. Why am I being envious of this man right here?
Right.
You can't just negate it and say, it's not right and exact. I delete it. That's not how it works.
Right.
You got to actually deal with that issue. You know, I'm not feeling some kind of way because I haven't been that productive and shit. And this guy came out of nowhere and he's just, you know, you gotta articulate. You gotta put those things to work. This is why I tell you, write a journal. For you, it'll be basically an exercise though in writing in different format.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Writing in a different format.
And I think I need to do it anyway because I need to start writing with a pen and pencil again because I'm getting back to drawing. I draw as well. So I really need to use my hands because I'll be writing with my phone. I write with my phone. And I think I need to just, you know.
I think it's good too. You know, I'll tell you something. I've written all my books and everything. I write them in the phone, in the computer's phone, laptop, everything. Right. There's more mixing and matching. You can do it so much easier. It's like puzzle pieces. Right. But I always keep my journals handwritten. I never want to lose that first-hand experience of putting it down like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to keep it like that. But it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? And these things that I'm saying to you, everything I'm saying to you, I'm going to be saying them again and again. So don't be like, I remember everything you said. It ain't going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be like that. Let me look at these comments real quick. Peace to the God, Supreme Scientist. All right? You had to let me know it was working because I was like, ain't nobody commenting. You know, when I start building with the students here, everybody is quiet here. You know, like this has become fly on the walls and everything. All right? Peace to the gods. Malik, all right? George Todd. I forgot your righteous name, George. Sim, peace. Victory begets enmity. Enmity. That's right. That's right. Yo, Sim, you and I have read the same books, guy. Like, you always on it, though. Malik, you said born its fruition or to bring forth a new reality. That's right. You know what I'm saying? See, but this new reality that we bring sometimes is the perspective that we see it as. You see? How we see it as. And we always have to do the knowledge and say, what I consider born, though, may not have been the complete thing. You see? We talk about sports, right? You go all that way to get the chip. What if that wasn't really enough? You know what I'm saying? What if you realize that wasn't enough? For some, it might be enough. For some, it might not be. You know what I mean? Right. So now you have to make those decisions. For some, it'll be born. That's enough. I got that chip. I'm out. Right? Obviously, for Jordan, though, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? Right? So it's different perspectives. You know what I mean? Different perspectives. You know? We're in a world where we're dealing with knowledge, what is right and exact. You know what I'm saying? But it also collides though with what also makes reality, and that is our own ideas. And our ideas are what is created, are creating everything.
Right.
And those ideas, they can either be real or they can prove to be not real. You see? So it's a great divide between what is not and what is. You see? That's why the mind is so powerful. You know what I mean? And so you have to understand it. You have to understand the way it works. And that's what you're looking for when you look to define the mathematics and how you use them and how you see them outside of the street.
This just came
See?
in the photo report, and then they gonna tell us.
So when I send you math, when I send you math, you start to define them. You start to build on it. You know what I'm saying? You start to ask questions. The scientist is not based on the explanation. You know? Like people always study Einstein. That's a good example because you see it out there. They got lots of documentation about his career. His greatest ideas are not the idea, it's the questions that led to those ideas. And a lot of the stuff that he proved, like in quantum mechanics, he actually disagreed with it. And it was his questions against it that helped prove it. So a scientist actually adds on even by his own disagreement of thought, his own questions. See? So value your questions. They're more important than just answers. Because a lot of times for a student, your answers are just explanations. They're not really, giving anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's important too. You know, I learned that too with Ivan Van Sertima's books. You know, Ivan Van Sertima, in his books, he wrote a lot of great books, but they had compilations of other scholars, so you could learn about a lot of other scholars. But he always analyzed everything in the beginning. And sometimes he didn't agree with everything, but he liked to share what other black scholars were doing and their ideas. But he always put in his books what else ought to be answered. You see? And me reading it lets like, yo, this is the future. Like the young scientists, the young anthropologists, the young, excavators, they could see like, yo, there's more to answer here. That's what makes a great scientist. You know what I'm saying? What haven't I answered? You know? Right? So this is important.
Do me a favor. Another program that we want. It's coming right now. We already.
I would say this though, right? Ideally, though, our perspective would be greater, but I wouldn't want you or anyone or myself to go out there and saying I'm a 5% and I'm the God. My perspective is going to be more right and exact because I have supreme math. That's exactly when you stumble. When you think you got it like that, that's when you fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Don't be thinking because you know supreme math, because you're the true and living God, that your perspectives are right and exact. You know what I mean? I always tell everybody, and I always tell the students that after Thursday ends, my week begins. Because after this class ends, so I don't know shit, and I'm stupid again. And I have to learn as much as I can, though, to be worthwhile and worthy of presenting something this next Thursday. You see? Our week starts Thursday. 8 p.m. now, to be exact, right? So these are the perspectives that build. You know what I mean? These are the perspectives that build. We have to know that they fluctuate, that they're based on our emotions, that we have to be aware of our emotions. You see? This is all crucial. You know what I mean? Just because you got knowledge of self doesn't mean you're some kind of robot. You have to look at yourself. You still might be dealing with a mystery. You say there's no mystery, God, but then you're still expecting things. Wouldn't that be mysterious? Expecting things that are not going to come. You know what I'm saying? Or thinking that you deserve things because you're the God. I realize I'm the God of the entire universe. I deserve this. You know what I mean? You don't deserve shit. You know what I'm saying? We're only going to get work. I learned a long time ago, hard work is its only reward. That's the only guarantee. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have been working hard at something that didn't really build you up. And then you might have. So that's why supreme mathematics is so powerful, because when you work hard, you go back and do the knowledge to how you worked and take it through mathematics to see if it was worthwhile, if it's really going to be continually useful. That's why wisdom is an important word. The usefulness of that knowledge. You always check it. So 3 things, probably the last thing I'll tell you, right? Anytime a student comes to my classroom, I tell them 3 things, right? I tell them, it's very rare that you have your chance to choose a teacher, right? Which means that your whole life you've been learning things, right? Kind of involuntarily, because you have to at school, because you need to get this job, right? You know, you need to survive with knowledge, right? And there's very few times you get to learn things, and then usually it'll be done voluntarily with things you learn for fun, to relax and things like that. Learn about sport, learn about music, things like that to relax, right? It's very rare you go to a teacher to learn something that you think is vital, but it's your own voluntary action. But the more that you realize, though, you realize it here, is that everything that you actually did learn, that actually got ingrained, was your own decision. You see? Now, the only difference is that now it'll be overtly done. It'll be outrightly your decision. And with that said, it means that you have to learn first how you learn. What is it that you memorized? What is the best way that you learn? Who? With who? How? What forms? Books, video, arts. How well do you learn? From what? You see? This is very important because it goes into how you choose who it is that's teaching you. Even right now, Sam, you have the decision to say, lead this class, say, I want to learn this now, but not from this motherfucker right here. I want to learn from somebody else. This motherfucker crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's still your decision, no matter what. You see? And that's what I always want to remind first to every student. So be aware of how you learn. How well do you learn? What devices you learn? Because when you learn how you learn, you also learn how you get fooled. You know what I'm saying?
God degree. That's the food, right?
Right? The food, right? Right? Because you could get fooled. No, I said fool. You can get fooled.
You
know what I'm saying?
Food or food.
Right? Fooled.
Okay.
Right? Because if you know how you learn, a lot of times the best way that you learn is also the way that you get fooled. You know what I'm saying? Right? Right. Right.
Wow.
Right? How do people we love the black woman though. You put her in the church, you have her sing about Jesus Christ though. Man, I'm in. Put the beautiful black woman, put Anita Baker out there singing about Jesus Christ. Now I'm with Jesus Christ.
Right.
You get fooled. How do you get fooled though? What are the forms? You know, you gotta know. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what's crazy is the way that you say that, because a lot of people didn't really understand that song "On and On" by Erykah Badu. She was singing about the lessons.
That's right.
And the mathematics. Throughout every verse was about the lessons in the mathematics.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Right? The second thing out of the three things I tell everyone first as a student, like the one I remember, is always be making your next question. It goes with what I was just saying about questions and stuff, right?
Right.
To make a great question about what you need to learn, you have to make sure that everything you think you know is actually true. People be asking questions based on shit that they don't know, and so the answer to that question doesn't help them. You don't know how to add, but you ask shit about subtraction, and you ain't going anywhere. You're still confused. So you have to make sure that what you think you know is actually true, and you always have to be developing your next question, which means that a student, which is all of us in life, is always willing to be wrong about anything at any moment.
Right.
Okay? That kind of humility is what breeds a student, a lifetime student of anything. You see what I'm saying? A good listener. It makes a good listener. You want to teach your son, you want to build with your son, that's you be a good student, and then you be a good listener. Learn more about him. You'll learn how to teach him. You know what I'm saying? So that's the second thing I tell everybody. The last thing is this. We bathe. It has to go what we're saying, right? We bathe, right? We bathe regularly with the original people. We bathe. We make sure we're clean. You know, we with that funk, right? But we also have to bathe ourselves with belief. Belief is not something that once you say you don't deal with a mystery, it's over. No, we deal with a life of reality where we're learning and knowledge is infinite, which means that we are going to be doing things that we don't have complete knowledge of, but we have to make decisions about. So always bathe yourself with belief, meaning what is it that you are doing right now that is most important to you that you know the least about? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This is what I mean by bathing yourself with belief and seeing the perspectives. You say, oh, I'm the true living God, but you're getting mad that you expect this person to do something, that person, that woman to believe you. You don't believe you. You didn't believe this knowledge. You needed it to be proven, but you're mad because she won't believe it, though. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Right.
So all these things or what I mean when I say bathe yourself with belief, you know? Right? So we always be doing that. Always be doing that. Right? These are things I tell everyone though. If they don't remember shit, they never see me again. You take these 3 things to your whole life. Being able to decide how you learn, being able to always develop questions as a student for yourself, and to always bathe yourself with belief, meaning recognizing what are you doing with the most ignorance? What part of your life has the most ignorance attached to it? We usually don't take note of that stuff. You know what I mean? With the 5%, when we get knowledge, so we usually go with the young, we start with the diet. Because these are things that they put inside them. They have no idea what it is, but they're carrying it inside of them.
Right.
You know, expecting it to do things. You know what I mean? Or expecting that it won't do things. And it is. It's doing terrible things. Right?
Exactly.
But these are the 3 things I always find important. Let me see who's talking here. All right. We got 20 minutes left here. So anybody that wants to ask a question out there, I see there's a good amount of people building with me here. Let me know. I see you, Malik. You said it's 35 to 50 years a way to teach at that time and then born degree. I think in certain places, certain cultures, they did. But in the East, they favored the aged. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was saying in the East,
Right.
they favored the age. So when they go, they put the Muslim son 35 to 50 years, that was expected. They'll take that. Like, let's say if I go to a student now, like, listen, you're not ready, though. Come back when you can do this. And they ain't come back.
Right.
You're like in the Kung Fu movies, though. You need to learn this move. And then they spent like 2 years learning a certain move and come back.
Right.
That ain't today. They didn't come back. They'll never come back. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different today, the way that we would, you know, put someone under the sword, meaning just under the watch. Like, yo, you have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself out there. Show and prove that you're right and exact. You know? And I think that sometimes today I'm thinking of a lot of humility because a lot of people read the lessons and think like, we put them under the sword 35 to 50 years. You shouldn't be worrying about where you putting the white man under a sword. You should be worried about you having that longevity. You should hope that you have that longevity of 35 to 50 years with this knowledge. We're not worrying about teaching some white man to be under the sword for 35 to 50 years. We're worrying about how am I going to live a lifetime of this? Because it was guaranteed under there that when they lived that lifetime, they was right and exact. And so they had nothing to bear witness. They was right and exact, and they was bringing it out. We have to make our lives that way too, though, where it's natural to be right and exact. You know what I'm saying? Natural. Right? But yeah, that's how I see it, though. I hope it answers the question, Malik. I see you, Wise Prince. Peace, God. Okay. Sim, you said during that time, also keep in mind their understanding of year might not have been our current calculations of years. Year to them might mean cycle. Very true. Very true. You know what I'm saying? Because like the way Elijah answered things and stuff is basically in the language of that time. You know what I mean? Probably Asiatic is the most oldest type of word that he used in the lessons. Or one of them. You know, so don't really say that. You know, definitely didn't refer to people that way like that. You know, so it was an older word. You know, as far as reference. You know. But yeah, that's a good understanding, God. Definitely cycles. But there had to be some type of lengthy work to go through, lengthy hells that they had to go through, you know what I mean? Whether it was years, cycles, right? Whatever we're gonna say, Definitely makes sense, cycles though. Especially places in the East, you know what I'm saying? Right? When you read about my man Genghis Khan, he didn't even want to conquer the Western world. He was like, there's too many problems there. I'm trying to go there.
Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah. He had the longest contiguous empire. That means without break. Just went on. But he refused to go up into Europe. You know? And at the time, he really could have rocked it too.
Why didn't he want to go?
For some reason, he saw that it just wasn't adaptable. The way they were absorbing people, they didn't, they didn't just go in there and slaughter everybody, then they own it. They went in there and they took over. But they let the people do what they did. That's how they were able to continue to move on to the next place, You know what I'm saying? Right? And it basically was about adapting to those people's religion. So a lot of the ways of life that those people had, they actually adhered to a lot of it and used it. So contrary to what people think, a lot of Genghis Khan and his empire, they assimilated a lot of people's beliefs that they conquered in a lot of their ways. You know what I mean? So when there was give and take, but the way it looked, he didn't want to do that with anyone in Europe. You know what I'm saying? And it probably would have been harder, I think, to civilize them in the way that he felt they should be civilized.
You want the white people.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Genghis Khan is a very interesting history, though. I'm saying very interesting, intriguing. That's right. You said Kublai, his grandson, is who took it to a large level. Genghis wanted to unify East Asia only. Great show to watch about that time of the Khans is Marco Polo. I've never seen it. Yeah, I've only read books. You know what I'm saying? I've only read books. I gotta watch that though. I gotta watch something. But all right, we got like 10 minutes and stuff. So anybody that has questions about anything, please let me know. You know what I'm saying? That neurology lesson though is being added on to. You know what I'm saying? A word? All right, I do the knowledge then. I definitely do the knowledge. All right. Let me just write some notes here.
Everybody's feeling it. I just need to see where she is. Around the corner. Nigeria wasn't, I don't know where Nigeria is. She's in the car.
All right. That's Peace God. Yeah, they were talking about neurology. Malik, you said the military mindset of 1 to 14 will allow him to come amongst us is in born degree and 10th degree we take the head out. Not literally. Oh, it could be literally. Yeah, it basically gives all the possibilities. That's really, That's right. Right, especially, and then the interaction, I was just in a little build, I wanted to go through V.S. Ramachandran's focus on mirror neurons, and how crucial mirror neurons are in emulation, learning, learning by visualization, learning by seeing, you know what I mean? Which leads to the most important thing is epigenetics, though. You know what I'm saying? So we have the nature of ourselves, but then we have nurture. What happens outside That's epigenetics, the effect of things outside. You know what I'm saying?
Epigenetics.
Epigenetic, EPI genetics. Yeah, epigenetics. That's what that is. Peace to the God, King. Come on. You know, as we go along, though, King, I'm also gonna definitely have to build, even in the classroom setting here, about my thoughts on creativity. You know what I'm saying? How that is manifested, how crucial that is. You know what I'm saying? It's crucial that the way you create music, things like that, that you continue to do those things, but as you deal with the knowledge, that you also engage with new ideas to create. You know, like you're doing, like you say, you go back to drawing, things like that. You know, we're not creators if we're not creating things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even
that's when I feel my most productive, honestly. When I know I've made something from my mind and it's alive, it's here. Like
this is a real thing. This is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? This is a real thing. Because these are interactions with the people. And they're vital because the people are gonna be, you're interacting with them and they're not there. That's the jewel about it. When you create things like this, when you create arts, they're interacting with it and you're not there. So you're able to share something of value, and they're not even there with you. You know, and that's powerful. You know, that's really powerful. You know what I mean? You know? It can't, you know, it can't, you know, it can't be understated. You know what I'm saying? That's right, God. Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, because a lot of the branch descriptions of neurology goes into a lot of the psychology and stuff like that, and how you'll deal with people mentally, what you'll accept and what you'll deal with, what you'll find is real and what you find as not real. You know, there's so many angles. That's why I felt like I made the lesson, but I didn't bracket it well enough. You know, and I didn't just want to go off the cuff into ideas that are intriguing me and shit. And then everybody is like, what the fuck is Sunez talking about? He's in his own fucking world here. You know what I mean? But I want to give a primer, is what I want to give. Because it came up because there are many sciences that are new, that are really burgeoning now, like really taking off. But they're very crucial in defining, though, and proving why the original man was God. One of those is neurology, the science of the mind, the science of the brain. Another one is, going to continue to be the science of melanin, of course. You know what I'm saying? Epigenetics is crucial too. But also, what else? It's on the tip of my tongue right now. Biochemistry, that would be the melanin. But anyway, there's a lot of burgeoning sciences. Quantum mechanics. Why is that? Quantum mechanics is crucial to knowing this. You know what I'm saying? Right? All right. All right. So I'm gonna close it down right now. There's a special event that's gonna go on here, and I wanted to start as soon as they are ready. So I'm gonna let go, you brothers and sisters that are online. I'm gonna put my email like I always do, so that we have it though. And go back, because even in this hour there were some things I shared that is very crucial for everyone. That's right. Thank you for that. You know. All right. So anyone that's getting on, like I see P4P King, you're coming on now. Do announce to the session as it gets posted. And then email me if you want to build and stuff and introduce yourself and everything, because I don't know if I remember you. All right. With that said, I'm gonna say peace. All right.